Hello. Welcome back to the English Playbook, where we break down real-world English conversations to help you speak with confidence. I'm David.
And I'm Sarah.
David, I have to tell you, today's episode is so relatable. Have you ever felt like you're drowning in work and just desperately need help?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, I think every professional has been there at some point. You're juggling 10 projects, your inbox is exploding, and you're thinking, I need an assistant yesterday.
Exactly. And that's what today's dialogue is all about. We're diving into a conversation between an employee named Tony and his boss, where Tony is trying to convince his boss to hire him an assistant. But here's where it gets interesting. There's a hilarious twist at the end that we'll definitely discuss. Sarah, why don't you give our listeners a quick preview of what they'll learn today?
Great idea. So today you're going to learn essential workplace vocabulary and phrases like understaffed, resources, and take the weight off my shoulders. These are expressions you'll hear all the time in professional environments, whether you're in New York, London, or Sydney.
And the best part? These aren't just textbook phrases. This is real, natural English that native speakers use every single day. All right, should we jump into the dialogue?
Let's do it. Okay, everyone, just sit back and listen. Don't worry if you don't catch everything the first time. That's completely normal. Here we go.
Like I told you before, we just don't have the resources to hire you an assistant.
I understand that, but the fact is we're understaffed.
The timing is just not right. The economy is bad, and it's too risky to take on new staff.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Here's an idea. What if we hire an intern? She could take some of the weight off my shoulders.
She?
Yeah, a recent graduate. She could give me a hand with some of these projects, and we could keep our costs down.
That sounds reasonable. Let me see what I can do. Tony, I'd like to introduce you to your new assistant.
Okay, great. Let's meet her.
Hi, I'm Adam.
Oh, hi. I'm Tony.
Okay, can we just talk about that ending? Tony was not expecting Adam.
Right? You could hear the surprise in his voice. Let's meet her, and then it's Adam with that deep voice. Classic.
We'll come back to that awkward moment later, but first, let's break down all the amazing vocabulary in this conversation. David, this dialogue is packed with useful business English, isn't it?
Absolutely. Whether you're working in an office, running your own business, or even just having professional conversations, these phrases are gold. And here's the thing. This isn't formal, stuffy business English. This is how real people talk at work.
Exactly. So let's start from the top and really dig into these expressions. Ready?
Let's go.
The first word we're looking at is resources. David, can you say it for us?
Resources. Resources. Resources.
Repeating, resources.
Resources.
Now, in this context, when the boss says, we don't have the resources, what does that really mean?
Great question. In business English, resources usually refers to money, but it can also mean time, people, or equipment. In this case, the boss is basically saying, we don't have the budget to hire someone.
Right. It's actually a pretty polite way of saying, we can't afford it. It sounds more professional than just saying, we don't have the money.
Exactly. Let me give you some examples. We would like to use more resources to increase our sales. Or, Intel has a lot of resources for research and development. Or, we don't have enough resources to start a new project right now.
You know what I love about this word? It makes you sound really professional. Instead of saying we're broke or we're out of money, you say we're limited on resources.
Much better for a business meeting. Okay, what's next?
Next up is understaffed. Understaffed. Understaffed.
Understaffed. Say it with me, listeners. Understaffed.
This is such an important word. David, break this down for us.
Sure. So staff means employees or workers, right? And under means not enough. So understaffed literally means you don't have enough people working.
Perfect explanation.
It's when a company, a department, or even a restaurant doesn't have enough employees to do all the work that needs to be done.
And this is so common. Think about when you go to a busy restaurant and the service is slow. They're probably understaffed. Let me give you some examples. I did overtime last week because the company is understaffed. Hospitals in poor regions of Africa are understaffed. The factory is producing less than usual because it's understaffed.
You know what's interesting? There's also a similar phrase, short-staffed. It means exactly the same thing.
Good point. You might hear someone say, "Sorry for the wait, we're a bit short-staffed today." Same meaning, just slightly more casual.
And of course, there's the opposite, overstaffed, which means you have too many employees.
Although honestly, that's not a problem most companies worry about these days. Loves.
Okay, here's a phrase that's super useful in so many situations. The timing is just not right.
The timing is just not right. The timing is just not right. This is beautiful because it's polite but firm.
Exactly. It's a way of saying no without really saying no. You're basically saying maybe later, but not now.
Right. The boss uses this when he says the timing is just not right. The economy is bad. He's not saying never, he's saying not right now.
And this phrase works in so many contexts, not just business. Let me give you some examples. I was going to sell my house, but the timing is just not right. Honey, I think we should have a baby. The timing is just not right. I want to buy a car, but the timing is just not right.
I love that second example. It's such a gentle way to postpone something without completely shutting down the idea.
Exactly. You're not saying, I don't want to. You're saying, let's wait for a better moment.
And in business, this is perfect when you don't want to completely reject someone's idea. You're leaving the door open for the future.
Such a diplomatic phrase. Okay, what's next?
This next one is one of my favorites. Take the weight off my shoulders.
Take the weight off my shoulders. Weight off my shoulders. It's so visual, isn't it?
Absolutely. Imagine you're carrying a heavy backpack and someone takes it off your back. That relief you feel, that's what this phrase means.
Perfect analogy. So when Tony says she would take some of the weight off my shoulders, he means
She would help me with my work and reduce my stress. She would make my life easier.
exactly. Let's hear some examples. Could you help me plan the party? That would really take some of the weight off my shoulders. Or finishing that project was a big weight off my shoulders. Winning the lottery took a great weight off my shoulders.
I mean, wouldn't that be nice?
Right? But seriously, this is such a common expression. You'll hear it all the time, especially when people are stressed or overwhelmed.
And notice you can say take the weight off or take a weight off. Both work.
Good point. It's flexible.
All right, next up, give me a hand.
Give me a hand. Give me a hand. Now, David, this is not literal, right?
Right, I'm not actually asking for someone's physical hand. This is an idiom that means help me.
Exactly. Tony says she could give me a hand with some of these projects. He means she could help him.
And this is super common in everyday English. Let's listen to some examples. Can you give me a hand with these boxes? Neil, I'll need you to give me a hand with the sales reports. Here, let me give you a hand with your suitcase.
You know what I love about this phrase? It's casual, but still professional. You can use it with your boss, your colleagues, or your friends.
Absolutely. It's much more natural than saying, "Can you help me?" or "Can you assist me?" Those sound too formal in most situations.
Right. Give me a hand is friendly and natural. And you can also say, lend me a hand. Same meaning.
Great point. Both are very common.
Okay, last vocabulary item. Keep our costs down.
Keep our costs down. Keep our costs down. This is essential business vocabulary, everyone.
So what does this mean exactly?
It means to try not to spend too much money, to control your spending, to avoid unnecessary expenses.
Perfect. Tony says, We could keep our costs down by hiring an intern instead of a full-time assistant, because interns usually work for less money or sometimes just for experience.
Exactly. And companies are always trying to keep their costs down. For example, many companies now control how much printing you do to keep the cost of paper down. Or we're not traveling for meetings anymore. We're doing video calls to keep costs down. Or we switch to a cheaper supplier to keep our costs down.
And there's a related phrase, cut costs, which means to reduce spending.
Good distinction. Keep costs down is about maintaining low expenses, while cut costs is about reducing expenses that are already high.
Exactly. Both are super useful in business contexts.
All right, everyone. Now that we've gone through all that vocabulary, let's listen to the dialogue one more time. I want you to really pay attention and see if you can patch all those phrases we just learned.
And especially listen to the ending. We're going to talk about why Tony is so surprised.
Here we go. Dialogue plays again, same as before.
Okay, we have to talk about this ending.
I know. So Tony keeps saying she throughout the conversation.
And then Adam shows up, who is very clearly not a she.
Right. You can hear it in Adam's deep voice. Hi, I'm Adam.
And poor Tony is just like, hi, I'm Tony. He's completely caught off guard.
So let's talk about this. Why was Tony expecting a woman?
Well, this is actually highlighting some assumptions and maybe even some bias that Tony had. He automatically assumed his assistant would be female.
Exactly. And this touches on an important issue in workplace culture. Historically, assistant roles have been associated with women, but that's an outdated stereotype.
Right. Men can be assistants, women can be assistants, anyone can be an assistant. It's not a gendered role.
And I think the dialogue is making a point about assumptions. Tony made an assumption based on stereotypes, and he was wrong.
Which brings up a good lesson. We should never assume someone's gender, role, or qualifications based on stereotypes. The workplace should be inclusive and equal.
Absolutely. And listeners, if you're in a professional environment, always use gender-neutral language unless you know specifically who you're talking about. Instead of saying she or he, you can say they or just the assistant.
Great advice. And honestly, Tony's surprise is kind of funny, but it's also a learning moment.
Exactly. We can laugh at the awkward moment while also recognizing the important message behind it.
Before we wrap up, I think we should talk about internships because they come up in this dialogue.
Good idea. So an intern is typically a student or recent graduate who works at a company to gain experience.
And here's the thing about internships. They can be amazing or they can be not so great.
So true. Some internships are incredible learning experiences where you work on real projects, learn from experienced professionals, and build your skills.
But some internships are basically just making coffee and doing photocopies for months.
Right. And the compensation varies too. Some internships pay well, some pay minimum wage, and some don't pay at all. They just offer experience and maybe college credit.
Which is why it's so important to research internships before you apply. Ask questions like, what will I actually be doing? Will I have a mentor? Is this paid?
Great advice. And for companies, good internships are a win-win. The intern gets valuable experience, and the company gets help with projects. Sometimes, like Tony hopes, the intern can take some of the weight off your shoulders.
See what you did there?
I couldn't resist. But seriously, many people get hired full-time after a successful internship. It's like a long job interview.
Exactly. I actually started at my first job as an intern, and after 3 months, they offered me a full-time position.
That's awesome. So internships can definitely open doors.
All right, David, I think it's time to wrap this up.
Already? Time flies when you're learning English.
It really does. Okay, let's do a quick recap. Today, we learned 6 essential workplace expressions.
Number 1, resources. Money, time, or assets a company has.
Number 2, understaffed, not having enough employees.
Number 3, the timing is just not right. A polite way to say, not now.
Number 4, Take the weight off my shoulders. To reduce someone's stress or workload.
Number 5, give me a hand. To help someone.
And number 6, keep our costs down. To control spending.
These phrases will make you sound professional, natural, and fluent in any business environment.
And remember, the key is to practice. Try using 1 or 2 of these phrases this week in your conversations or emails.
Great idea. And listeners, we want to hear from you. Which phrase was your favorite? Have you ever been in a situation like Tony? Leave a comment below.
And if you found this episode helpful, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the English Playbook. We release new episodes every week.
You can also follow us on Instagram and TikTok at the English Playbook for daily English tips and fun content.
All right, everyone, that's it for today. Thank you so much for learning with us.
Keep practicing, stay curious, and remember, English is your playbook to the world.